What's up everyone, Brandon with Strict Vision Athletics here with the official product review of the Assault Bike Classic. Yes, this is one of my longest standing pieces of equipment that I've had here in the gym. I got it when I first opened. It was one of the very first pieces I picked up. At the time, the Classic was the only product in the line that actually Assault Fitness had. Assault Fitness, the creators of the Classic, the Pro, and now the Elite variations of this bike. The last two of which I have not used. I've only ever used the Classic, so for the purposes of this review, the Classic will be the focus of all the score. So, with you guys, anyone who's watched the page, you'll know we go off of pricing, quality, usage, footprint, and customer service when we do our reviews. So, this is a very good piece of equipment. Let me kind of just start with that. I use this every single time I train, and I really do mean that. Now, most people, when they look at the Assault Bike, their only real exposure to it might be through the CrossFit games. You might have seen people doing high-intensity interval training, 10-20 splits, target intervals, target calories, that kind of thing. There are certainly a lot of applications you can get for high-intensity interval training with the Assault Bike. Any cardiovascular VO2 max, all that stuff you can get into while using this for that purpose. But what I also use this for, and what I think is an undervalued part of what this brings to the table, is for dynamic warm-up. Now, when I train, I go through static stretching, I go through a general warm-up, and I do a dynamic warm-up. This is part of my, I suppose you could consider it a general warm-up or a dynamic warm-up. Either upper or lower body can be targeted with this bike. Now, if I am, for example, I'm going to do legs, you know what I mean, and I want to get going, obviously I would probably use my hands and my feet for this. But as you can see, I can use my feet when I want to do lower body. Then, as I'm sure you could guess, if I put my feet up on these pegs, I can use my arms and I can circulate some blood flow and I can get it up into my upper body as well. So for the purposes of just warming up, the Assault Bike really does have a place in any really serious gym. It's a very, very low impact way to get yourself, heart rate elevated, get blood circulating to the areas that you're going to focus on, and just have a non-invasive way to warm up. You guys, it's a really, really good thing to have. And that's not taking anything away from the HIIT training that this thing can do. It's truly incredible, and it is a ass kicker when you do it. If you guys train seriously and you are doing a cardiovascular type of training routine, this is something you really should look at. So let's go through the scoring. So as I mentioned, this is the Classic. So you've got the Classic, the Pro, and the Elite that all vary based on pricing. This one is $700. So $700 for really any serious piece of equipment in the gym is a steal. That's a good deal. That's not bad. For what you're getting out of this, and again, the amount of usage that you will inevitably get from this machine, I think that price is outstanding. I'm going to give that an 8.1. $700 for a piece of machinery like this, that's a really good deal. That's cheaper. This is the cheapest of all three bikes that they offer. So it is the most affordable pricing option, and I'll get into the rest of the score and the rest of the categories. But just for pricing alone, that's a decent amount of money, but it's a very, very fair price. So I think 8.1 is more than fair. Next, we have quality. So the quality of this thing cannot be understated. I have had this for 8 years now. As I mentioned at the beginning of the review, this is one of the first pieces of equipment that I ever put in my gym. I've had it now for over 8 years. It's never broke. It's never, there's never been a problem with it. I've never had any issues with this bike, and something like this could very easily break or go wrong. I've had stationary bikes in the past, in other gyms that I was involved with. They broke, had to have maintenance come out and look at them. There's just never been anything wrong with this thing. And like I mentioned earlier, I use it every day. All my clients use it every day. Every single client starts on the bike. So it really does get a lot of use. I got to hand it to them. 9.2. 9.2 for quality on the Assault Bike Classic. Very, very good. I like that name too because it is a classic. It really does stand the test of time, and it's constantly usable. All right, next we have usage. Usage is, as I alluded to earlier, very, very high as well. There are a lot of things you can do with this beyond just your traditional HIIT training. With your HIIT training, you can do your 20-10, your 10-20, your time target distance. You can get your calories. You can go for a heart rate. There's a whole lot of variation that you can get from this little pad. But beyond that, you use this for the very first thing you touch when you come into the gym. This is a low-impact form of cardio. So it can be high intensity or low intensity. It all depends on what it is you're going for. So the usage is quite high. I'm going to give it an 8.7. 8.7 for the usage seems very fair for the Assault Bike Classic. Next we have footprint. Category 4 is footprint. So this is I'll call it a medium-sized machine. It's not enormous. It's certainly not the size of the squat rack or dumbbells or anything like this, but it does need to be spaced out. The only thing that I've noticed about this is that it's very difficult to store. You really can't put this, unlike the concept row where you can literally put the concept row up on its face and hang it on the wall, you can't do that with the assault bike. The assault bike just kind of has to hang out on its feet on the ground in the area that you want to put it. It's not a big deal because, as I mentioned, it's a medium-sized piece of machinery, but you're going to have to account for its size once you do decide to buy it. Footprint, I'm going to give it a 7.9. 7.9 is good, not great. It's a good score for a good footprint size. Next, we have customer service. As many of you know who follow the page, if customer service has in some way impressed me, if there's a company that has gone above and beyond, someone who fixed a problem, somebody who honored a warranty or something like that, the customer service will go above a 7.0. If, on the other hand, maybe the company falls short of a warranty, or they send me a default product, or they don't honor customer service, or they don't answer requests, that will drop the score inevitably below 7.0. I haven't had either one of those happen. So I've had a good experience with Assault Fitness, but I haven't really had all that much experience with them, period. So for me, an honest review of this would be a 7.0 for customer service. I haven't had anything good, nor have I had anything negative, so it's been right there in the middle at neutral. 7.0 for customer service brings this to 8.18. 8.18 for the total score for the Assault Bike Classic. A great addition to any gym. I do highly recommend it. As I mentioned, I use it every single time I train. And it's easy to take this thing for granted. I'm so used to being on it and using it and watching my clients die on it. I'm just like, it's just there. But it really is an amazing little machine. And it has lasted this long because of the quality of its design. And it's just a very, very well-made piece of equipment. So thank you to Assault Fitness. You guys are awesome. Can't wait to keep working with you, and we'll see what happens in the future.